Alright guys, I am out and about driving to work, as you can see and hear from all the noise of the car and me just being out on the road. But I wanted to get my first segment of me talking and driving. So with it being Buds Aplenty, the first two episodes I've really focused on the idea of local beverages. It's an easy way for me to show it off because I don't have to go out and bring food on set. I don't have to worry about the sound of chewing, all that deal. So drinks make it easy. So I think it's appropriate for me to bring it on. But then a lot of you are probably always thinking, like, why is he bringing local stuff? Instead, he could be, just making cups of coffee, bringing bottles of water. And I think that spawned the idea of me wanting to talk about the differences between local and corporate. So from a local stance, you can automatically go right to someone made it locally. Someone in your community has made it. So for example, if I go to get my growler filled, I'm not necessarily going to go get it filled with, Bud Light or Coors Light or any of like the domestics. I get it with something that's like made in the reservoirs in the back of the brewery, which is awesome that someone, took the time to make it. It's not always a manufacturing process, They spend a lot of time developing their formulas, developing their flavors. And then while it is like they make a ton of it, it's not like it's made and processed and drank by millions upon millions of people like many domestics are. So it's cool in that aspect. You also, with some breweries, you get some local, not local, but seasonal beers. You get some Halloween flavors. You get some different blends. And the cool thing is they can also change the formula of their tried and trues. So sometimes they may hear a response from critics about, say, this beer is kind of iffy and this beer is kind of good, this really good, but could use a tweak here. So they may, with it being local, they may be able to listen to those complaints, listen to those cries from people, and able to take care of the problems that the consumers hear. I think going along with talking about the tastes, they're very unique tastes. With the craft beer scene really thriving nowadays, you get more and more of the local style beers like an IPA or stouts or many different types of beer that are going to a domestic sense, which is a good thing because more and more people are able to get exposure to what craft beer is and the different types of flavors, instead of just saying like, oh, I only drink light beer. Instead of just doing that, you're able to experience different flavors. It's an acquired taste, I know, but you're able to get that. And with it being local, you can find all the different flavors, because I know, like, more than likely, like we had on episode 1, we had Horsepower versus the double IPA. A double IPA more than likely will never be in my opinion, stocked on shelves unless it's a local blend. Most domestics will never opt to pick a double IPA. I think it's also personable because not only are you buying from them locally, you may see them locally, you may be able to speak with them about their product. Breweries, local grocery stores, the place where I got the handcrafted beverages was the only grocery store in the city of Indianapolis where you could get that. There was a locally owned one where they sell all sorts of local products. So with Dave being able to do that, it's a more personable experience because I'm actually able to talk with whoever makes the product, instead of it just being, if I wanted to get in contact with someone, one of the higher ups in like a fast food industry or something, you're having to send off letters, send off emails, things like that to get in contact with their PR rep. And I think with kind of with what I talked about with the unique taste, you also get a large sense of variety. You go to a local restaurant and you're able to experience so much more than what a corporate restaurant would like have as their tried and true menu. The local cons is that it tends to be a little more expensive. For example, if you wanted to get a 4-pack of Sun King. Sun King's probably Indy's most popular beer and most well-known craft brewery here in the city. So if you wanted to get one of their 4-packs, it's like $12 for 4 16-ounce cans. And, that seems like a lot. Is it 16 ounce? Yeah, I think it's 16 ounce. Same with getting a growler. Unless you get it filled on fill day, you're going to be taking a huge hit on what you pay. And which is why it's good to pay attention to fill days. So that can be a hard thing to manage. If you want to be able to support local, you also have to be willing to lay down a little bit more money out of your pocket. And sometimes it's not as easy to get to. You think about wanting to get, sometimes a lot of people are really into Three Floyds. Three Floyds is another local beer out of I can't remember Munster, I think, Indiana, up north towards Chicago, and it's a very, 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 very popular beer, nationally known, and it's hard to get their beers out of a liquor store here in Indy. Sometimes, I remember the first time I went to go get which one is Gumball Head, which is one of their more known beers. I went to go get Gumball Head, and they're like, yeah, it's sold out, and if you want it, you have to come in on the day we stock it. And so they gave me their stock day. And they're like, well, usually we sell out on stock day too, so you'll have to come in when we open on stock day. So luckily I was able to get a 6-pack. It's like $15, which ain't bad, but there was 12-ounce bottles, things. So it can get a little pricey, and it's not as easy to get to. Whereas one of the nice things about the corporate buying experience is that you can get a 30-pack of a lower class beer, maybe Hams, for $10, or you can get a case of Bud Light for 20, which is almost what you're paying for 6 beers of a craft beer. So that can be a little bit harder to or it can be, it's more enticing to do that. Same with if you go to 2 different burger places. You go to, let's say, the most tried and true local indie burger place is Brew Burger. You go to Brew Burger, and you're going to pay $12 for a burger, maybe toss an extra $2 for some hand-cut fries, things like that. Whereas if you want to go to McDonald's, you can get quarter pounder with cheese and medium fry and a drink for $6. Half the price for it's hard to say which amount of food you're getting, and you're getting a drink included. Sometimes at restaurants they'll charge an extra $2 for drinks, but that's no big deal in most cases. So it's a lot cheaper in most cases, unless you wanted to go to somewhere nicer, quote unquote, for example, an Olive Garden. And Olive Garden was actually the reason I wanted to make this video. I was driving by Olive Garden on I think it was a Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, and the parking lot literally had no spaces. And I was like, why isn't Olive Garden selling out when there's a lot of local great restaurants here in the area? And I think that also plays into a marketing budget. They also have a budget where they can say oh, I'm going to do this, or I have a product I want to sell to you. I'm going to blast it all over TV, blast it all over billboards, magazines. Going to spend on social media as well, and they have a great marketing budget, and they have multiple locations. So an Olive Garden may be on the east side, west side, north side, south side of Indy, and there may be like one in all of the suburbs as well. Whereas if you want to get a burger in Broad Ripple from like Boogie Burger, that's the only place you're going to be able to get their burgers is from Boogie Burger. They're one location. So you have like that once again gets into the idea of the accessibility. So corporate really has that going for them. And depending on how fast you want your food, you can get it pretty quickly. You think about, I think about today's culture. Today's culture is such a like, get on the go. I want my information now. I want my food now. I got to fill my schedule up like to the max. And that's really what a corporate or fast food business can go for. Same with, you look at Starbucks. Starbucks, they can get your coffee out pretty quickly. It's a coffee place with a drive-through, and that really plays into the fact that they can get your coffee out to you quick. Whereas whenever I go to get coffee, I like to go to places like Fletcher, which is on Virginia Avenue, 10 Johnson, which is in Irvington, right by their theater. And they both have really great blends. It's not just like your atypical mocha, atypical latte. The thing I usually get whenever I go to 10 Johnson is their Snickers latte, which is phenomenal. It's a good one to like really get into coffee, especially if you're not a coffee drinker. It's the one I gave out to my mom. And being able to do that and try all their different blends, you have your baristas that are willing to like work with you on what you like and try and like mix and match, do this and that. Instead of like sometimes whenever you get a corporate business, the only way you can really get some of their baristas' creativity is through like a secret menu that they develop personally for their store. I've done it before. Whenever I worked at an ice cream shop where we made the ice cream, I had my own secret menu, probably still around. So if you wanted to, you could try some of the stuff off the secret menu. I may post that. That'd be cool for you guys if you ever were in the area and wanted to go to a Sub-Zero, or go to a Sub-Zero in general. There's, I think, 50 locations across the U.S. and a couple in China, I think. But if you wanted to go there, you could try mix and match with my flavors to get the secret menu flavors. Anyway, that's the only way you can get some creativity. And I felt that. A lot of baristas probably feel that. But at your smaller businesses, it's almost encouraged. So, which is a cool thing. So I think that's going for your local stuff. And the things that really hurt your corporate, they're like the cons for your corporate. It's really cut out. Kind of like I was just saying. You go to get a coffee, and it's going to be almost exactly the same of what that last coffee was. And the coffee before that, and the coffee before that, if you all ordered the same thing. So, it's very just like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And that can get a little tiresome to me. And I think the big one is that it can be very simplified, or it can be like lower quality. And so it's also a testament to what you pay. There have been a lot of controversies or conspiracy theories or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how much you want to consider it fact or how much I know it to be fact. But if you go to like Taco Bell, people are always like, it's not real meat, yada yada yada. But you're only paying like $1.19 maybe for a taco. Whereas if you go to a place like Bakersfield on Mass Ave, you're paying $4 for a taco that's half the size. So your quality goes up, but so does your price. And it's the same with how you do fast food. Your quantity goes up and your price goes down, but your quality also drops drastically in most cases. I can't think of very many fast food restaurants where I consider their food like grade A. So I think, is there pros and cons to doing both? Yes, obviously. There's pros and cons to everything. do I think that you should do local all the time? No. Why is that? Because it's not always readily available to you. It's not always within your budget. And so sometimes you're just like, man, I don't want to cook. I want a quick meal. I'm gonna go to Wendy's 4 for $4. Shout out to 4 for $4 because the 4 for $4 is amazing. So I think you really just have to plan accordingly. I remember when top Smash player Hugs flew in. He's like, man, I wanted to go to this restaurant. And I want to go to this restaurant. So we went to both of those. And local restaurants, I think one was the Pub in Carmel, I think. I'll put it in the description, the links to both of the restaurants. And one was Foxtrot maybe, and on the northeast side, I can't remember the names of them, they'll be in the description. But both of them were like well, one was really small, the other one was bigger, and they both had a highlight on local products. So it was what you would call a farm to fork restaurant, where you order your food and all the food that is cooked off of those ingredients are locally bought. And at one of them, the one in Carmel, they had a menu they had a list written in chalk of what products were used from what places. So they really had that highlight on there. So that was cool. I don't know if that's kind of a hipstery thing, but you ended up getting some really good food because like locally bought, locally made, and it's not all, and the menu changes, so it's not always that copy and paste daily routine of food that you get, which can be really, really cool. So I think sometimes you just have to plan accordingly of what's available, what's within your budget, and what you have time for. So yeah, I think that's the gist of local and corporate. If you like what I'm talking about, like the channel, comment below, comment on Facebook. There'll be a lot of places for the discussion to get going. Maybe you can comment your favorite local places. A lot of my viewers are from Salem, and a good thing about Salem is a lot of the restaurants there are locally owned. You have some corporate, but a lot of it is fast food. So you have McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, but then you have stuff like Main Street Pizza, which is super good. I know that's Todd Motsinger's favorite pizza. Well, Todd Motsinger really enjoys their pizza. I'm not going to go on record because his opinion may have changed. But I remember him saying like, man, you got to go to Main Street. And I was like, yo, okay, I tried. And I tried it and I was like, yo, this is good. Last few months, when I go into Salem, I like to go to Sue's Thai Kitchen with Mom. And it's a real treat because it's a different type of culture that you're going to experience in Salem. So based on your food. So that's really cool. Yeah, like I said, like the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's the first of a series that I'm going to be doing. So I'm Dylan St. Clair, and see you later, guys.